studies. Welcome to the next video for the inorganic chemistry qualitative analysis of basic radicals. In my previous video, I have shown you till the identification of group 2 basic radicals till copper. So now I will show you the analysis of group 3 precipitates, that is iron 3 and aluminum ions. Okay. So, but before showing you the demonstration, let me show you the written part from the PowerPoint slides. Okay, just hang on over there. Now watch on your screens, you can see over there analysis of group 3 precipitate for iron 3 Fe plus 3 ion. Procedure: first, dissolve the given reddish brown precipitate in minimum quantity of dilute HCl and divide into two parts. So how to obtain the precipitate? We can obtain the precipitate for group 3 by taking the sample, making a solution, and then we can add ammonium chloride salt and then add ammonium hydroxide solution. So upon addition of ammonium hydroxide solution, we will get a precipitate for group 3. So in the case of iron 3, the precipitate will be a reddish brown precipitate. Now, once the precipitate is obtained, the precipitate must be dissolved in dilute HCl and it should be divided into two parts. So, to the first part, I am supposed to add few drops of potassium thiocyanate solution, okay, KCNS solution, and then I will obtain a blood red color, okay, after the addition of potassium thiocyanate. And to the second part, a few drops of potassium ferrocyanide must be added. So upon addition of few drops of potassium ferrocyanide to the solution, a deep blue color will be formed. Okay, so first I will show you this demonstration. Have a look. Now I will take a test tube. Okay. In this test tube, I will take the Fe plus 3 salt. It is deliquescent, so it has turned into a liquid. So I have taken the Fe plus 3 salt in a test tube. Okay. I add water and make a solution. Okay. I have added water. A solution is prepared. Of the salt is ferric chloride. Salt. Okay. Solution is over here. Okay. Now to this ferric chloride, what I am going to do is I am going to add solid ammonium chloride. From here. Solid ammonium chloride, little bit, one pinch only. Solid ammonium chloride. Now after the addition of solid ammonium chloride, now I will add to this, I will dissolve this first, okay. Then I will add ammonium hydroxide to this to get a proper precipitate. Ammonium hydroxide, at least concentrated. This side, okay. I will add ammonium hydroxide to this, okay. So I have obtained a reddish brown precipitate containing Fe plus 3, iron 3 ion over here, okay. So you can see the reddish brown precipitate containing iron 3, okay. Now this reddish brown precipitate, it must be dissolved, in minimum quantity of dilute HCl, and I will divide this into two parts, okay. I will dissolve it in minimum quantity of dilute HCl, okay. I will take little bit only of this precipitate into another test tube like this, okay. I will take this much only, okay, and then I will use dilute HCl, dilute hydrochloric acid from the reagent bottle. Dilute hydrochloric acid. I am following the steps strictly, okay. Whatever has been given in the instruction, same thing I am doing over here also. So I am adding dilute hydrochloric acid to dissolve it, okay. So it's dissolved, the precipitate has dissolved, okay. It has dissolved almost, now it is dissolved, you can see. the reddish brown precipitate has been dissolved in hydrochloric acid dilute. Now I will divide this into two parts. I will divide this into two parts. Okay. Little bit only. One part. Okay. So I have divided this solution into two parts. Now to the first part, I am supposed to add potassium thiocyanate solution. Potassium thiocyanate solution. The reagent is here. Potassium thiocyanate solution. Potassium thiocyanate solution. Okay. KCNS. Okay. Potassium thiocyanate solution. So here I add potassium thiocyanate solution. So you can see when I am adding, I am getting immediately a blood red color. A blood red color. See, blood red color can be seen on the top parts of the test tube. It looks like blood. This is called artificial blood. Okay. In chemistry, this is how we prepare artificial blood. So this confirms the presence of iron 3. Now to the second part of the solution, I will add potassium ferrocyanide. Potassium ferrocyanide. The second part, I will add potassium ferrocyanide. Okay. And let us see what happens. Now second part, I am doing the identification of iron 3 which is present in group 3 of the group analysis chart. So I am adding potassium ferrocyanide from the reagent bottle. So you can see a deep blue colored solution is formed. Deep blue color, see. Deep blue color solution. Now let it settle down. Now you can see on the top part over here, a deep blue colored solution is formed. Okay, here. Okay, so this confirms the presence of iron 3 in the given sample which was provided. Okay. Now I will show you the next what you call basic radical which is present in the same group, which is called aluminium. Okay. So let me prepare it first. Okay, boys. Now I will show you the identification of the basic radical which is present in group 3, and that basic radical is called aluminium ion. So I will take this salt containing aluminium in a glass test tube, in a hard glass test tube like this. Okay, I have taken the aluminium salt in a hard glass test tube. Okay, this is aluminium salt. It is white in color. You can see it is, I think, aluminium sulfate. Okay, aluminium sulfate. Okay. Now to this salt, I will add water. I will add water and try to make a solution. Okay, I have added water. Now I'll try to dissolve it as much as possible. Okay, by shaking it for some time. Okay, aluminium sulfate. It should dissolve. It will dissolve. Okay, let me add some more water. It is dissolved now. Okay. Now after that, I will add to this aluminum sulfate solution ammonium chloride, solid ammonium chloride. Okay. Little bit. Solid ammonium chloride. Okay. So that will also get dissolved. Okay. It goes down, making the preparedness for the common ion effect, which we'll be learning slowly in the chapters to come. After the addition of solid ammonium chloride, now I will add ammonium hydroxide solution. Okay, ammonium hydroxide solution to this sample solution containing aluminum sulfate salt. So I have added sufficient ammonium hydroxide and obtained a precipitate. Watch carefully. Obtained a precipitate. It is cotton-like structures floating in the solution. Now this precipitate of aluminum I will dissolve, I'll try to dissolve it. I'll transfer it into another test tube, little bit only. I'll transfer it into another test tube like this, little bit. Okay, I have transferred it this much. And then I'll dissolve it in dilute HCl. I will take dilute hydrochloric acid, dilute HCl, okay, dilute HCl over here, and then try to dissolve it. So it will dissolve. If I add HCl sufficiently, it will dissolve. The floating precipitate which is formed gets dissolved. So it has dissolved. Okay, I can see some fumes coming out. It is dissolved now. Now after dissolving it, then I will transfer this into another test tube, little bit only. And then now I will add blue litmus solution. I will add blue litmus solution and followed by ammonium hydroxide solution in excess. So this is blue litmus solution. This is blue litmus solution. You have heard of blue litmus paper. This is a solution of blue litmus. So I'll add this. Okay. Okay, I have added few drops of blue litmus solution in this solution mixture. And then now to this I will add excess of ammonium hydroxide. Excess of ammonium hydroxide. Okay. Excess of ammonium hydroxide. Let us see. Okay. So I will get a blue precipitate suspended. Slowly the precipitate will form, it will suspend, it will move upward in the upward direction to confirm the presence of aluminum ion. So this is a blue precipitate which has been suspended, and the solution underneath, it slowly gets clearer, becomes clearer and clearer upon standing. So this confirms the presence of aluminum ion in the sample. Now group 3 identification of iron 3 and aluminum is also complete. So the next ion which I will be doing is zinc ion. The basic radical is called zinc ion, which is present in group 4. Okay, so let me prepare and I will show you now. Okay, welcome boys. Now first I will show you the instructions for the identification of basic radicals present in group 4. Okay. So let me show you the instructions first, then we will come back to the demonstration part. Okay. Now on your screen you can see over there analysis of group 4 precipitate for zinc ion, Zn+2 ion procedure. After I get the precipitate is dissolved. How to get the precipitate? The precipitate for group 4 can be obtained by taking the sample solution and then adding ammonium hydroxide solution and then passing hydrogen sulfide gas. Then I will get a precipitate. Now this precipitate is dissolved in dilute HCl. After that we boil off the H2S gas and then divide the solution into 2 parts. After this, the experiment, to one part of the solution, sodium hydroxide solution was added first, little, and then in excess. So when it was added in little, a white precipitate was formed, and this white precipitate dissolved in excess of sodium hydroxide solution. Okay. Now to the second part of the solution, a few drops of potassium ferrocyanide solution was added. So when potassium ferrocyanide solution is added to the second part of the sample solution, a bluish white precipitate was formed which confirmed the presence of zinc ion. So this was for zinc ion present in group 4. Let me again read out the instruction for group 4 calcium ion also. So we will get the precipitate for calcium ion also in a similar manner. Okay. And then what I will do is, that is actually this calcium ion, it is present in, I'll do a slight correction over here, this calcium ion is present in group 5. It is present in group 5, precipitate for calcium ion. Now, I will get the precipitate for calcium ion by boiling of the H2S, which was passed before, cooling it, and then I will add ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide to the sample solution containing calcium. Okay. Then I will add ammonium carbonate, and then warm it, and then I will filter it. Okay, and then I will filter it, and then the filtrate will contain the precipitate, the residue part will contain calcium ion. So, but here I will do directly the test for calcium ion. Okay. Now let me show you the detection, identification of zinc ion first. Okay. Now please have a look. Now for the detection, identification of zinc ion, what I will do is, I will take a test tube, empty test tube. I will take the zinc sample in it, the zinc solid sample in it, in the test tube, and then to this I will add some water. I will add some water and then make a solution. Make a solution and dissolve it. Dissolve it properly. Dissolve it properly. Okay. It is dissolved, I think. Okay. Now this sample solution of zinc, I will divide this into two parts, equal parts. Okay, it's divided into two parts. Okay. To one part, I will add sodium hydroxide dropwise and in excess. Sodium hydroxide solution, it's here. Okay. I'll add dropwise first and then in excess. Let us see. So when I add dropwise, I am getting a precipitate, gelatinous white precipitate. You can see gelatinous white precipitate. Okay. Now I'll add sodium hydroxide in excess and let us see what happens. The gelatinous white precipitate will dissolve upon shaking. It should dissolve. Let me transfer this into another test tube and I'll test with a little bit of the gelatinous precipitate. Okay. Now I'll add sodium hydroxide in excess to this white gelatinous precipitate in excess, plenty. See, it has dissolved. So the precipitate was due to the formation of zinc hydroxide. So if I add excess of sodium hydroxide, it is forming sodium zincate, which is a colorless solution. So this confirms the presence of zinc ion in the given sample solution. Okay. Now to the second part of the solution. As per the instruction, we are supposed to add few drops of potassium ferrocyanide solution. So I'll add few drops of potassium ferrocyanide solution to the second part of the sample containing zinc, and let us observe the color change. It is colorless, so I'm adding potassium ferrocyanide. You can see it is whitish. Color is not seen over there, sir. It is seen. No? You can say it is bluish whitish color. Precipitate is obtained, which confirms the presence of zinc ion in the given sample solution. Okay. Now after this, I will show you the identification of calcium ion, which is present in group 5. Okay. Okay, boys. Now I will show you the identification of calcium ion, which is present in group 5, okay, of the group analysis chart. For the detection, identification of calcium ion, I am taking the sample, little bit of calcium sample. The sample which I have taken is it is calcium chloride. It is calcium chloride in a test tube. To this sample in a test tube, I will add some water. I will add some water, okay, and try to make a solution. Try to make a solution. Water is added, I am making a solution. Okay, solution is made. Now to this calcium salt solution, I will now add ammonium chloride, solid ammonium chloride, solid ammonium chloride, solid ammonium chloride, little bit of solid ammonium chloride, okay, and then I will add ammonium hydroxide, and then I will add ammonium hydroxide, and then I will add ammonium hydroxide, little bit. Ammonium hydroxide, okay, ammonium hydroxide is added. After this, I will have to add pinch of ammonium carbonate. Ammonium carbonate. This is ammonium carbonate, okay, ammonium carbonate, solid ammonium carbonate. I'll add little bit. Okay, I've added ammonium carbonate as well in this reaction mixture, and now I must warm this. We got a precipitate. See, we got a precipitate. It's a white precipitate. So I must warm this. Okay, so let me put on the gas. After the addition of ammonium carbonate solid, I warm it. I warm it for some time, slightly. Okay. When it gets warmed, I can feel the vibrations in the test tube holder. Okay, you can feel the vibrations once it is warm. So I must warm it carefully and filter it hot. Filter it hot. Okay, filter it hot. This sample solution contains the basic radical which is called calcium. Okay, it is hot now. It is warmed. Okay, now I will filter it. Okay, I think you can see the funnel, the test tube. I am filtering it. Filtration is happening. Let it filter. Let it filter for some time. I'll wait. Now I think the filtration is complete, so I will remove the filter paper from the funnel. Okay, I'll show you, and then I'll open it up, and then collect the residue from here. Residue, you can see, I think. You can see residue is there. Okay, so I'll collect it in a test tube like this. So you can see there is a residue on the mouth of the test tube. Okay, now this residue on the mouth of the test tube, it has to be washed down with dilute acetic acid. Okay, and dissolve it. Okay, so I can add little bit of water also to wash it down, little bit just to wash it down. Okay, then now I'll try to dissolve this by adding dilute acetic acid. Okay, and then I'll boil it slightly to remove any carbon dioxide gas, because we have added ammonium carbonate, no? So I'm adding dilute acetic acid to dissolve the white precipitate. Okay, yes, so it's dissolved. I've added acetic acid, so it has turned into a clear solution. Okay, so the precipitate is dissolved. Okay, now I'll boil it slightly, because bubbles are coming out, means carbon dioxide gas is there. We have to remove all the carbon dioxide gas present in this solution. Okay, so I'll boil it slightly, warm it on a Bunsen burner flame over here. So it's getting boiled up. After that, I must add ammonium oxalate, and then I must add ammonium hydroxide also. So carbon dioxide gas is coming. See, you can see the bubbles rising. Okay, so carbon dioxide gas is being evolved from this solution. Okay. So the boiling evolution of carbon dioxide is done. Now I will allow it to cool down a little bit. I'll allow it to cool down. Now to this I will add first ammonium oxalate solution. Ammonium oxalate has been prepared beforehand only by me, and it is kept in a reagent bottle. Ammonium oxalate. Ammonium oxalate. I'll add this ammonium oxalate to this solution now. So upon addition of ammonium oxalate, a precipitate is starting to form. Okay, you can see precipitate is formed. Okay, now I'll try to make this solution alkaline by adding ammonium hydroxide to deepen the precipitate. To make it more dense. Okay, so now I'll add ammonium hydroxide to make the solution alkaline. Okay, so now I'll get a thick precipitate. The precipitate has become thick. Now this formation of white precipitate confirms the presence of calcium ion, and this calcium ion is the basic radical which is present in group 5 of the group analysis chart. Okay, so this completes your groups, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4 and group 5. Okay, in group 5 there is calcium ion. In the next demonstration class, I'll be demonstrating you the ions present in group 6, which are magnesium ion, ammonium ion. Okay, so for now, this much for today. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.